Turkey, known for its beautiful Anatolian landscapes, turquoise blue coast, rich culture, and history. Our 2 weeks journey to this transcontinental country started a year ago in October, and our first destination was none other than Cappadocia. Cappadocia is famous for fairy chimneys and caves. We chose Ascension Cave Suite in Goreme town, which is at the center of the region. Our day started at 3 am in Mumbai and we almost checked in at 7 pm in Goreme via Istanbul. After such hectic day and piping hot pottery kebab at Old Cappadocia Cafe, we dozed off early as our next day was going to start a bit soon. On day 2, as scheduled, we were picked up at 5 am by our balloon operator from hotel and taken to the base camp. There are 25 balloon operators in this area and about 100 balloons fly every day. 1 hour of ride cost in between 160 to 220 euro per person depending on the season. From the moment of takeoff around sunrise, the spectacular landscape of Cappadocia enchants you. You will feel as if you are in a dream, drifting gently past fairy chimneys, through valleys scattered with pigeon houses and vineyards. Enjoying a hot air balloon ride over one of the most magical places on the earth is an experience not to be missed. It was a warm sunny day. We finished our balloon ride and dropped at our hotel around 8 am. After gazing through last remaining balloons still in air, we headed to catch minibus, also known as Dolmus, to Goreme Open Air Museum. There are dolmuses every 30 minutes. Since we had just missed one, we decided to walk. This museum is about 2 kilometers from city center and the road is full of beautiful scenery and small caves. Goreme Open Air Museum is a splendid cluster of monastic Byzantine artistry with its rock-cut churches, chapels and monasteries. First, an important Byzantine monastic settlement that housed some 20 monks, then a pilgrimage site from 17th century. Few of the 8 churches contain relatively well-preserved red oak daubs and professionally painted frescoes of biblical scenes. While returning, you will find an underground chapel on your right called Tokali Kilise, which also has well-preserved frescoes, and entrance for the same is included in museum's ticket. Turkey not only has a beautiful landscapes but also is a food paradise. There are a number of kebab places in Goreme market area having a common sitting arrangement parallel to main highway where you can have hot doner kebab surrounded by chill town life. In Goreme there are few great sunset points, but the most popular and close to our hotel was Asiklar Tepesi, also known as Sunset Viewpoint. Here we met a lovely family from Pakistan. Interestingly, we were the only South Asian families wandering there at the time. For day 3, we chose Green Tour. In this, our first pit stop was Panoramic Viewpoint. After that, we headed to deepest underground city called Derinku, amongst the 200 underground cities yet discovered. This city is 18 stories deep and runs around 80 to 100 meters down the surface. Out of 18 floors, only 8 floors are accessible to public. The entire complex was big enough to house maximum 20,000 people with their livestock. There are different floors for kitchen, school, missionary, community halls as well as for crucifixion. All the floors are connected to each other with tunnels and also hidden doors as an escape in time of attack. These complexes were majorly used during natural disasters or persecution. Initially built by Hittites before 4th century BC, later extended by Christians during 6th to 7th century. After exploring the underground world, it was time for a hike through Ihlara Valley. This valley is 14 km long and 80 to 120 meter deep. It houses about 100 churches with 80,000 persons capacity. It was first found by Christians who came from Syria and built these churches in 9th, 10th and 11th century. They constructed rock houses and temples by carving the turfs in the valley where the Melindez River runs. The paintings inside the churches retain original freshness without any restoration. At the end of the valley there is a Selime monastery, a biggest religious complex in Cappadocia. Because of the waters of Ihlara, the people are called Peristerma. It means the people of circulating waters. Searching for the source of water in Ihlara is like trying to reveal the meaning of life. It takes about 2.5 hours to walk from Ihlara Vadisi to Belisarma and 3 hours from Belisarma to Selime monastery. In Belisarma, there are several restaurants on the river which serves Turkish as well as Western food. After the lunch break and rest, we headed towards Selime monastery. After jam-packed day tour, we came back to Goreme and climbed up our most favorite spot, the Sunset Point. After all, this was going to be our last evening in this beautiful town and we didn't want to miss a thing. This was our last day in Cappadocia, which we kept for leisure. As per the recommendation by locals, we chose to spend whole day alongside Red River in Avanos town. Later in the evening, we went back to Goreme to catch an overnight bus to our next destination. After exploring central Anatolian plains, we were now headed to southwest coast. Central part of Turkey is well connected by bus and air. There are several private bus operators which can connect you to north and south. Tickets can be availed on their websites but prefer at counter as they are at much low prices. After 10 hours of bus journey, we finally reached Fethiye. We chose Oludenis, which is a small holiday village nestled in Babadag mountain valley at the conjunction of Mediterranean and Aegean Sea. We dropped our luggage in hotel and straight away headed towards Saklikan Gorge. This gorge is about 50 kilometers from Fethiye and it takes 2.5 hours by Dolmus. One can opt for direct taxi, but the journey by Dolmus through small towns is a pleasure for eyes. Around 18 kilometers long, this is the longest and deepest canyon in Turkey. 4 kilometers of the gorge is walkable after April when most of the snow from Taurus mountain has melted and passed through the gorge on its way to Xanthos River. It is a spectacular place with sculpted walls soaring as high as 1,000 feet in some places. There is a narrow walkway suspended from rock wall to take us into the gorge. Once inside, there is an Ulupinar spring where water bubbles up under great force from the base of the cliff. We can wade across the stream into the gorge to begin the hike. Crossing the ice-cold spring at the beginning is the most difficult part. Once it is crossed, the stream becomes warmer. At the entrance of the gorge, there are cafes and restaurants alongside the river, where one can spend rest of the day or do river rafting. There are dolmuses every 30 minutes for Fethiye. Discover one of the gems of the Mediterranean as you set sail on this full day tour around the islands, beaches, and caves of Uludenis. In this tour, ship anchors 4 to 5 times near uninhabited islands and pristine beaches, giving enough time to explore, swim, snorkel, or just soak in the sun. Swim in the glittering lagoon of Blue Cave, or explore the Butterfly Valley, or just climb up the St. Nicholas Island to view and unearth the beauty of the Azure Sea. This day is for relaxing, away from the world, in the middle of turquoise blue water. Today we headed to our next destination, a small village on outskirts of Denizli city. This journey by bus was a bit tedious, but ever-changing landscapes every few kilometers kept us entertained. After 5 hours of journey for just 200 kilometers, we reached Pamukkale. Pamukkale literally means a cotton castle in Turkish. This town in western Turkey, known for its mineral-rich thermal waters caused by a volcanic lava bursting forth for more than 2000 years, forming travertines. The Romans built spa city of Hierapolis on this, so citizens could come and enjoy the health benefits of the hot mineral water. The ruins of this spa city evoke life in a bygone era in which Greeks, Romans, Jews, Christians, and spa tourists peacefully coexisted. It became a curative center when founded around 190 BC by Pergamum, before prospering under Romans and even more so under Byzantines. Recurrent earthquakes brought disaster, and Hierapolis was finally abandoned after an AD 1334 tremor. There are 3 gates to enter Hierapolis. North and south gates open early in the morning. To avoid crowds, start early, preferably from south gate, since major sites are surrounded by this gate, and walk down towards Pamukkale village through travertines. Later in the evening, we headed to Selçuk by train. There are 4 to 5 trains run daily. Details of the same are available on their website, and tickets can be easily availed at the counter. Selçuk is a town near Izmir in western Turkey, also known as a gateway to Ephesus, a vast ancient Greco-Roman city. To its south, there is a House of Virgin Mary, a domed chapel, and a religious shrine. Next on our list was the Ephesus city. Around 10th century BC, Dorian incursion forced Ionian prince of Athens Androclus to seek a safer settlement. After crossing the Aegean Sea, Androclus and his crew rested on the Anatolian shore and built the Ephesus city. We started from Upper Gate, walking down the curated street through Hercules Gate and Odeon, terraced houses, Library of Celsius, Lower Agora, and Great Theatre on the way exiting through the Lower Gate. As a capital of Roman Asia Minor, Ephesus was a vibrant city of over 250,000 inhabitants, the 4th largest in the empire after Rome, Alexandria, and Antioch. After more than a century and a half of excavation, Ephesus undoubtedly is the most famous of Turkey's countless ancient sites and considered the best preserved ruins in the Mediterranean. After Ephesus, we visited ruins of Temple of Artemis and headed to Izmir airport. Transportation in Turkey is very pocket-friendly. Next day morning, we took Pegasus Airlines, which is a low-cost carrier which hardly costed us 1000 rupees per person for single journey to our last destination.